Hello, I'm Gil Zilkha. Welcome to my channel, Essential Classical Music, where we look at the best recordings of the classical music repertoire. This video is taken out of my larger video on the major solo piano works. I hope you enjoy it. And then we come finally to Robert Schumann, the romantic of all romantics. The one thing about Schumann is that his works, they really challenged the traditional view of form. He was really inventive in his different works, the way everything was pieced together. Very often he was known as a mimic at the piano. He could take people and say, hey, this is Bill, and people are like, whoa, that really does sound like Bill. And he would do that in his compositions. He would kind of mimic different moods or even different characters. He really was sort of the quintessential romantic. He really saw himself as breaking away from everything that came before. First, I want to talk about, like with Chopin, I'm going to go in alphabetical order of his works, of the titles. So I'm going to start with Carnaval, which is a really fun piece. It's really flamboyant. It's based loosely on the pre-Lent Carnaval celebration, depicting like different characters as if they were, participating in Carnaval, it's very kind of creative and inventive, and a real tour de force for pianists to show their stuff, both in terms of their virtuosic ability and also their creativity. My top choice for this one is the consummate romantic Claudio Arrau. This was recorded in 1966. And it shows Arrau in wonderful form, very powerful, beautiful tones, flexibility, imagination. He is always such a probing artist, it's just like one quintessential romantic interpreting another quintessential romantic. You can't go wrong. Excellent sound as well. But there are a lot of wonderful interpretations of this work, including this one, live from 1957, recorded in London, Arturo Benedetti Michelangeli, another incredible virtuoso who also was very creative, and he brings all those gifts to this recording. Just wonderfully imaginative and creative and captivating. The sound is fairly good, fairly clear, even though it's a live recording. Next, we come to Arthur Rubinstein. This recording comes from 1953. It's pretty well recorded, though, really good mono. And he brings this exuberance and personality and charm. He also has the virtuosic chops. So wonderful imagination, and definitely one of the iconic Carnaval recordings as well. Next, I want to mention Solomon. Do I have the right one? Yes, this is coupled with that Brahms Piano Sonata number 3. This is from 1952. Like the Brahms, it's mono, but it is fairly well recorded, fairly clear. And Solomon brings that mixture of imagination, creativity, and just wonderful pianistic chops as well. Really creative and wonderful interpretation. A couple more I want to mention that are much earlier and dimmer sound, but from two of the great artists of the piano. One is Alfred Cortot. As you can imagine, he brings a lot of character and creativity to Carnaval. This was recorded in 1928. He was a very natural Schumann interpreter, kind of, two romantic souls that kind of, went really well together. And it's fairly dim sound, but it's listenable, and mainly what you're getting out of here is the creative insights. However, I have to mention one of the iconic recordings of all time, Rachmaninoff, from 1930. This is just a tour de force. I mean, Rachmaninoff could just do anything at the piano. He had those massive hands, those huge sonorities, incredible virtuosity. I mean, some of what he plays here, it goes so fast, it sounds like it's coming out of a computer. But wonderful panache as well. Piano sound is not bad. It's a little bit noisy with the hiss, but this is really an iconic recording that you won't want to be without. All right, next we come to his Davidsbündlertänze, the Society of David dances. Society of David was his imaginary society. Again, Schumann was this kind of very creative guy. He had this imaginary society of artists who were breaking free of the conservative past. And then he calls it dances, but really it's more like poetic musings. It kind of shifts in mood between the dramatic and the more kind of soft, wistful. It also was quite inspired by his love for Clara Wieck, who eventually became his wife. It's really one of the most representative Schumann works, lasts about half an hour. And then also, I want to mention the symphonic Études. This starts off with a theme. Bum, 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 bum. And then it develops it, and just like the title suggests, it's pretty massive. It's symphonic, really virtuosic tour de force. These two works are coupled together in this recording from Rudolf Verkushny. We mentioned Verkushny earlier for his excellent Janáček set. This was recorded in 1955. Pretty good sound, though, fairly full and clear. And Verkushny brings just this wonderful color, really inhabits the soul of that Davidsbündlertänze, the romantic soul of that work. And then also the symphonic Études are very dramatically done. So as a coupling, this is just a wonderful way to get to know these works. Also, for the Davidsbündlertänze, we have this recording from 1966 from Geze Anda. Also wonderful power and dramatic bravura with beautiful color and shaping and very good sound. Then for the symphonic Études, I want to mention a couple of recordings. One is from Murray Pariah from 1976. This is a version that's very, as Pariah tends to be, he's more on the sensitive side. It's a sort of an intellectual interpretation of the symphonic Études. It really makes a lot of sense of the work, but it also has the virtuosic chops as well. Really beautiful, engaging version. And then from 1971, we have Sviatoslav Richter, who really brings out those powerful symphonic elements of the work. So that's really exciting. And then I also want to mention, again, Alfred Cortot. This is from 1929. Cortot himself was a conductor as well, and he really brings this large vision of the symphonic Études. The grandeur of the work really comes out. So this is a wonderful version as well. Now we come to the Fantasie in C. One of Schumann's most ambitious works, one of the great works of the Romantic solo piano repertoire, has three movements. It starts out sort of fantasy-like, really dramatically and emotive, and then its middle movement is almost like a scherzo. It's kind of got a lot of color and it's very energetic. And then the last movement is this slow meditative movement, and that's where it ends. So instead of the typical fast, slow, fast, you really sort of have fast, fast, and then just slow. But it's a beautifully eloquent movement. This was inspired, this work, by Schumann's desire to raise funds for a Beethoven statue in Bonn, and that was eventually successful. he dedicated the work to Liszt, which was appropriate because Liszt was about the only person at the time who could play it. Anyways, it's just this wonderful work. And my top choice for this one is, if I can find it, Martha Argerich, 1976 recording. This is on Sony, and I'm not exactly sure if Sony was the original issuer of the recording or not. But all I know is that it's now on Sony on CD, and it is just wonderful. As you would want, it's impassioned and dramatic, but then also really poetically beautiful. She really brings these wonderful colors to the softer movements, and really beautifully recorded as well. So wonderful way to get to know the Fantasie in C. We also have this famous recording coupled with the Wanderer Fantasie from Maurizio Pollini. This is from 1973. And this one's just really powerful and dynamic, wide dynamic range, strong tones, beautiful nuance as well, very structurally sound in excellent sound quality. And then we have Sviatoslav Richter again. This is a 1961 recording. And he's virtuosic and poetic, but also fairly controlled. So the varying moods of the work really tie together and make sense, and it's really a strong version as well. Then I want to mention this version from Clifford Curzon, coupled with the Wanderer Fantasie that we mentioned earlier. This is from 1954, and Curzon brings that concentration, that intellect, to the interpretation. It's also powerful and intense, very probing, beautiful sensitivity, especially in that final movement. It's very poetic, that slow final movement. Fairly good mono sound, 1954. And then finally, I want to mention Benno Moisowitz, 1953, the consummate romantic pianist. Wonderful bravura, power, beautiful soft tones, wonderful color that he brings to the soft movements as well. And always with Moisowitz, this feeling of spontaneity. The sound is a little bit clangy. It's a little bit noisy, not ideal. But what you are listening for here, of course, is the artistry. And now next we have the Fantasiestücke, Opus 12. And these are eight pieces that shift in mood. Schumann had these imaginary characters, Eusebius and Florestan. Eusebius was the dreamy character, and Florestan was the more impetuous, kind of going crazy character. And so he would often shift between these two moods, and that's what you see in these pieces. And so, again, it's like one of those more representative Schumann works. And for this one, I recommend the Martha Argerich recording that's coupled with the Fantasie in C. So that's a real winner of a Schumann disc, recorded 1976. And she just does a wonderful job of shifting the moods back and forth, bringing plenty of bravura and virtuosity to the more kind of going crazy parts, and then the beauty of tone and nuance to the softer sections. Also want to recommend Arthur Rubinstein, 1949 recording, coupled with the Carnaval that I recommended earlier. Rubinstein also does a wonderful job of shifting the moods from the energetic to the more relaxed. This is slightly younger Rubinstein than we typically see in his recordings, and the virtuosity is really strong as well. And it's fairly well recorded for 1949 as well. So that's also a strong version. I also want to recommend Sviatoslav Richter. Unfortunately, we only have 6 of the 8 Fantasiestücke in this issue. He only recorded 6 of the 8, but his virtuosity and his intelligence and our artistry are such that it's still one that you're going to want to hear, and it's fairly good sound, 1956 sound. And then finally, I have to go back to, again, Benno Moiseiwitsch, coupled again with the Fantasie in C, also with the Brahms Handel variations. It's a 1952 recording. Again, you get Moiseiwitsch's spontaneity, his imagination. He just had a real romantic spirit and an effortless virtuosity as well. Wonderful job, as you would expect, of shifting the moods. Again, like the Fantasie in C, it's not the best recording quality. It's not the most immaculate sound from the piano, but the artistry is such that you forget about that. Okay, now we come to Kinderszenen. And this is a little bit atypical of Schumann in that this actually has a pretty steady mood throughout. It's pretty mellow. It's like sleepy time music. It's very gentle. The most famous one is Träumerei number 7. Bum 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 bum. Approximating what it sounds like, but you get the idea. And then there's the Child Sleeps is a really beautiful movement, and then the very last movement is called the Poet Speaks. Really, really wonderful work. And my top choice for this, I go back to the coupling of Claudio Arrau, his Carnaval. The Kinderszenen dates from 1974, and it's, again, that sort of immaculate romantic touch, the beautiful phrasing, beautiful tone, very well recorded. You just can't go wrong with Arrau. There are other versions I do want to recommend, though, including this famous one from 1962 with Vladimir Horowitz. Now, we think of Horowitz as the loud pounding, doing those war horse concertos, but he's actually very beautifully gentle in this recording. Wonderful legato, the smoothness between the notes, and he does bring that childlike simplicity to the work. It's a wonderful clarity as well. So this is an excellent choice. Next, I want to recommend a digital recording from 1993 from another great romantic pianist, Radu Lupu. Just gorgeous tones. Like Arrau, it's just a consummate romantic pianist, and wonderful sensitivity as well, and legato playing and phrasing. So that's wonderful. Another one that we've already mentioned various couplings for is Clifford Curzon. The Kinderszenen is recorded in 1954, and as you would expect with Curzon, his wonderful touch and delicacy really lends itself to this work. He was really tailor-made for it. The Poet Speaks is really eloquent, just really gorgeous. And the sound, it's 1954, but it's fairly clear. It's better than the 1949 Wanderer Fantasy that it's coupled with. But this disc is a real winner of great piano playing. And then finally, the last one I want to mention is Moiseiwitsch, Benno Moiseiwitsch again. This is from 1930. It's coupled with his 1948 Chopin Preludes. So the sound is a little bit dim, but he's got wonderful flexibility in this soft music. It's just really immaculate and a wonderful interpretation. And actually the sound is fairly clear for 1930. It's not bad. So this is one you'll want to hear as well. Now we come to another one of Schumann's more ambitious works, one of his greatest works, Kreisleriana. It's based on the character Kreisler from E.T.A. Hoffmann, who is this kind of bipolar artist. Just really kind of manic mood shifts, and that's what this piece depicts. It's really, at times, virtuosic and just really powerful and just goes crazy, and then it has the most soft kind of more sort of reflective mood. It's really a wonderful work. And my top choice for this one is a recording from 1978 by a pianist who unfortunately we don't hear as much about because he died fairly young, and that's Yuri Egorov. He really does a wonderful job of playing up the shifting moods between the dramatic, the virtuosic, and the soft and poetic, beautiful tones. Also a nice strong sonority in the more dramatic stuff as well. Just a wonderful version, a wonderful way to get to know Kreisleriana. I also have to mention this very famous recording from 1969, coupled with the Kinderszenen, Vladimir Horowitz. This is, incredible virtuosity as you would expect, a wonderful finger work. But what really is exemplary about this, in addition to that, is the reflective tone that he takes. This is just really immaculate in the softer sections as well, and to help with that, it's also excellent sound quality. So one of the classic solo piano recordings. Also have to go back to Radu Lupu, coupled with the Kinderszenen, again from 1993, really inhabits the largeness of this work. He was such a consummate romantic with that large, deep, colorful tone that he had, wonderful romantic phrasing, wonderful shifting of the moods as well, and in excellent sound. A few more. One comes from Wilhelm Kempff. He was a wonderful Schumann interpreter, and this is actually his 1956 recording. It's coupled in this Philip's a great pianist too with his Brahms recordings that I mentioned earlier. Really, his consummate artistry comes out. He's also got the virtuosic chops, but in particular, this is just a real illuminating artistic interpretation. His beautiful singing tone as well, that helps. So this is really an unmissable version as well. Couple of more to mention. One comes from one of the great Schumann interpreters of long ago, Alfred Cortot. This is from 1935, so a little bit later. Now, in terms of the technical chops, it sounds like he's a little bit challenged in that department. Maybe he's artistically going for more, biting off more than he can chew. But you were listening to this mainly for the interpretation, and he's got this romantic soul that just eats up the different moods of this work. So he really goes for it dramatically, and it's an unmissable interpretation, regardless of the technique, whether it's perfectly polished. And then finally, I want to mention another one that is not complete. It's missing a couple of the numbers, but this one is also unmissable. This is from Joseph Hoffmann. It comes from the 1938 Casimir Hall recital. A little bit noisy, not the prettiest piano sound from the recording quality, but oh my God, this his technical ability is off the charts. You could even say that he's showing off. But, would Schumann have minded if he was to hear playing of this caliber? He just goes off. He really does. And it's just really something to hear. So I have to include this as well as just a Kreisleriana version that you should at least hear. And then finally, we come to Waldszenen, which is maybe not considered quite on the caliber of the other works I've mentioned for Schumann. It doesn't have the shifting moods. It's kind of it's forest scenes, so it's a little bit more mellow. There's really beautiful final movement. And for this one, I go back to, for my recommendation, Fairly simple. Claudio Rao again. I already recommended the Carnaval and the Kinderszenen. So his Waldszenen from 1974 is also gorgeous. Just beautiful tones, wonderful phrasing. You can't go wrong there. And in addition, I also want to mention Sviatoslav Richter. Wonderful imagination, wonderful tonal control. Comes from 1956, coupled with the 6 Fantasiestücke pieces. So this is a real winner of a Schumann disc as well. Thanks for watching. I wish you all a great day and happy listening.